Hey everyone, Mike Stevens here. Welcome back to my channel. I actually did it. I'm recording a video roughly a week after the previous video that I posted, which was several weeks after the first video I posted. But like I said, I'm learning, giving this a shot, trying new things, figuring it out, getting my schedule all worked out, and I'm getting to the point where this can be more of a regular thing. So here I am. And I am going to, for this video, share with you the lenses that I currently have and use. Now, there's lots of lenses out there that I would love to have, and I simply can't afford them, at least not yet. It would be nice to have all of the lenses, but that's not always going to be practical. So for this short video, I wanted to share with you what lenses I have, with the purpose of letting you know that in subsequent videos, I'd like to take a time to go a little bit in depth into the abilities, the capabilities of each lens, some of the specs, features, things like that, prices I find them, my experience with them as I use them, how they look with taking pictures, just so you can have a better idea of the types of lenses that would work for you depending on what it is that you're wanting to shoot, and can have a better idea of cost versus practicality versus, all kinds of things that may be important to you. So for my lineup, first I'm going to mention, because I don't have it here in front of me, I have a 35mm macro lens. It's a 1.8. I like it a lot, but I'm using it to film this because the lenses that I would use, which is a little more wide angle lens, I needed here for display and wanted to show you without just saying that I had it, and I figured that lens, sorry 35, would be good to just say that I have it and I'm recording with it. So this is my lineup. Starting over here, I have the 15 to 35 f2.8. Pretty great lens, very nice wide angle lens. Then the next one I have is the 24 to 70 2.8, not to be confused with the 28 to 70, which is a lens I've heard great things about, haven't used before, but that one is significantly bigger than this. There's a huge difference. One of these days I'll have it side by side with this one so you can see if you haven't already. But anyway, this is the 24 to 70 2.8. There is a 24 to 70 2.8 that just came out from Canon also. That is one I haven't had a chance to use because it just came out. It doesn't have the red circle around this, but it's got a lot of great features, of course, that I've read. Hopefully I will be able to get that soon and be able to compare it with this in a future video like I mentioned a moment ago. Then I have the 70-200 2.8, and I really do like this one. One thing that I do want to mention with each of these, there are f4 versions for the 15-35 and the 70-200. I don't remember if there is one for the 24 to 70. I think there is. I'll double check. I probably should have checked on that before doing this. Anyway, I'll double check on that and then get back to you. And then lastly, I have this awesome zoom lens, 100 to 500. This one has a variable aperture. It starts at, let me refer to my notes because I'm trying to keep myself on track. It's 4.5 to 7.1. So basically with all of these, if you're not familiar yet, if you're just getting into this, the aperture is 2.8 no matter where along the zoom spectrum you are. So for the 15 to 35, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, whether you're at your 70 or 200, the lowest aperture that you can go down to is going to be 2.8, which has a number of different capabilities that I'll describe in depth in another video. Part of that is the bokeh, or the blurriness that you get in the background of the subject of your shooting. So the lower the number, the blurrier your image background is going to be. There's some more technical terms for that. I'll speak more to that in another video, like I said. So with a variable aperture, you're going to get a change. So the lowest it can go at 100 will be the 4.5. But as I zoom out, and this one has a pretty long zoom, but it does pack up pretty nicely. So at 100 at the beginning, it's going to be 4.5, and at its longest, 500, it's the lowest aperture that you can get will be 7.1. So 7.1, especially compared to 2.8, you're not necessarily going to have as blurry a background compared to 2.8. Depending on the distance between the lens, your subject, and the background, you can affect that bokeh look depending on those factors. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about that going forward, especially since with these lenses. Now, I've purchased these lenses over time, over the last few years. I didn't go out and buy these all at once. They cost a lot of money, and that would be ridiculous. I mean, if you've got a boatload of money sitting around to do that, knock yourself out. But I did collect these over time. So there's several factors that you're going to want to consider when choosing the kinds of lenses. These three right here, I provide probably the vast majority of range that most people are going to use for taking pictures. They're often referred to as the Holy Trinity. There is definitely some overlap between the 15 to 35 and the 24 to 70, but it does cover a nice wide range, going from all the way from the widest at 15 to 200. So you can capture a lot and get creative within that range pretty well, versus having all of the other lenses. So a couple of other things to consider in addition to that, purchasing lenses all at once, maybe over time, or renting. Renting is a fantastic option. I do that for lenses that maybe I don't want to buy right away, can't buy right away, or I want to experiment with to see if it's actually something that I would like to get, because I don't want to drop a lot of money for something that I end up not using as often, or something that I wouldn't necessarily like. The other thing, fixed aperture versus variable aperture. Again, there's various things that you can do with that. Something to consider, prime lenses versus zoom. So prime lens, no zooming, fixed focal length. So like the 35mm that's on my camera, there's no zoom. Oftentimes those provide better image quality compared to maybe a zoom lens. That's not to say that these don't provide excellent image quality, because they do, but there's been discussions on just how clean and nice pictures you can get with the fixed versus the zoom. So yeah, kind of another one mentioned, what's your purpose in shooting? What are you shooting? Landscapes, portraits, product photography, what you're shooting, or just shooting for fun are also some factors to consider with the types of lenses that are out there. Minimum focusing distance is something to consider too. A lot of these lenses will have the distance listed on them, and I'll speak to these in future videos too. But the distance between your subject and the lens, some of them you need to be further away from the subject in order for the lens to even be able to focus properly on your subject. This comes into play a lot with portraits, well, anything really, but portraits, macro photography. You want to be able to get as close to the subject and still be able to have that subject in focus, especially those smaller subjects, which is what you're typically trying to do with macro photography. Another thing that I'll talk about for lenses, your diameter, because there are plenty of filter options that would be helpful. There are polarizers, circular polarizers, variable ND filters. One filter that I got for the Eclipse earlier this year was an ND filter that's pretty much just completely dark. You can't see through it. That was designed to point the lens directly at the sun. Of course, doing that with your naked eye is definitely a problem. Don't ever do that. The same things apply to the camera lenses. You don't want to put your lens straight through to the sun, especially during an eclipse. It will mess up your lens, likely mess up your camera sensor as well. But you'll want to pay attention. Typically on the lens, there will be information on the lens on the outside telling you, what it is. So says the RF 24 to 70, f2.8. But it tells me that the lens diameter is 82 millimeters. So I will want to get a lens or a filter for my lens that's 82 millimeters. That can present a problem from time to time, since not all lenses have the same diameter. So my 70 to 200, for example, is a 70, what is it? 77, that's what I thought. 77, so smaller than the 82. Having filters is good, but those also can get expensive. So something that I have with mine is some step up and step down rings. So I have 82 millimeter filters, for example, and then I have a ring that will attach to the lens at 77, but then is wide enough on the outside to be able to attach an 82 millimeter diameter filter. The other thing that is good to have with lenses that I have off to the side, they typically will come with a lens hood, which I always keep with the lens and put on when I go shooting. One nice thing about that is it helps with flaring from light from the sun or reflections. Depending on what you're trying to shoot, you might like that kind of like lens, like flare type look going through your image. Otherwise, it helps reduce that and reduce unnecessary or unwanted glare. The other thing that it's nice for is protection. So especially on some of these larger lenses, the lens hoods are a lot bigger, thicker. Definitely helps protect the lens while you're shooting. So if something hits it or you accidentally drop it, hopefully you don't, then that is definitely a helpful feature of these lenses. So definitely make sure that if you have whatever lenses you're going for, have them. Like I said, these come with them, so it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. I will make the videos in the future, like I said, but I wanted to share just what I have with you right now, as I'm still in the introductory phase of me as myself and as a photographer and getting on YouTube. And so yeah, I look forward to talking about these individually and showing you the shots that I get in my experience with them, especially compared with their other counterparts. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you like this video or want to learn more, please consider liking it, subscribing it, and let me know also in the comments, are there any specific lenses that you're interested in learning about? I mean, obviously I have the ones here that I can speak to, but I have access to a pretty awesome rental shop that I may likely talk about in another video that's here locally, where I can rent lenses, and I do pretty often. Happy to go check those out and give you my thoughts and opinions. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you'd like to know more about. What are your favorite lenses? What lenses are you currently using? Are there any lenses that you think would be awesome to have? Let me know in the comments, and yeah, happy to chat about that. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.